I write because of this, and this, and this, the dainty and persistent pulp of the everyday. I don't even want to think about the steps involved in stripping and repainting these cupboards, wading into the workload, not to mention negotiating the treacherous waters of the Tude. But writing isn't merely an escape. For one thing, it's crap for an excuse to be left alone. I mean, no one cares that you're writing a poem. It's like telling someone you're cooking pretend bacon. There just doesn't seem to be any reason not to interrupt a person doing that. I write because writing, like any art, has the capacity to take the minutiae and to give it context, to modify our perspective on it, to take the physical and give us a renewed understanding of it. Art is like the Carl Sagan of the peeling cupboards, the everyday grind, the snarky daughter. It is this thing that art does that makes me want to write. Art is like going to church. Having been raised Catholic, I went to my share of Mass and learned early on that the priest rarely said something I didn't already know because the main ideas didn't change. The priest never said to the congregation, "Huddle up, you know that thing about loving your neighbor? Changed it. Go forth and hate away." A person doesn't go to church every Sunday to be told the basic tenets. He goes on Sunday because by Wednesday he's finding it hard to turn his cheek and grasping desperately for the brass knuckles. Instead, the sermon is supposed to excite the churchgoer, inspire him once again to the application. As I grew older and no longer subscribed to any religion, art became that source of inspiration. Like religion, the big themes are all familiar. We may know what loss, love, forgiveness are, for example, but art can change how we think about them. When we are stuck in the Wednesdays of our lives, when the crawl of traffic, complex relationships, and the relentless news media onslaught have beaten us down, art can remind us of the kind of people we want to be, and even show us how to achieve that state of grace. It's both inspiration and a roadmap. The movie Cool Hand Luke is one of my favorite examples of what art does. Luke, played by Paul Newman, is like a performance artist creating an illusion for the prisoners who live under the arbitrary and tedious rules that govern their every move in prison. The prison is just a metaphor for all of existence. We are all in prisons of time and space, circumstances, and self-made shackles we can't see clear to unlock. Luke's distortion of reality, his art, is the illusion that physical rules don't apply to him. He wins a boxing match against the hulking dragline because he refuses to stay down and eats 50 eggs in an hour. Of course, the rules of physics do apply to him, but the illusion that they don't is enough for the others around him to change their perception and, although still imprisoned, be free. Art has often freed me from my own prisons. The little ones, like I felt relief from sadness just by hearing Bob Marley's "No Woman, No Cry" when I happened to turn on the car radio at an opportune time. And there are the big-ticket items. Art has often exposed hard-to-take truths about myself, like the narrowness of my own thinking. It has done so like a spoonful of sugar over bad-tasting medicine, sneaking in the truth while pacifying my well-honed defenses. Because who really wants to see themselves? Let's face it, your reality is like your favorite pair of jeans. You've been wearing them so long you don't notice or can't admit they've started to make your butt look big. So there you are in a pair of ugly jeans that have so lulled you with their comfort and shared history that you refuse to see them for what they are. Art dares to be the mirror, to answer the eternal question, does my butt look big in these jeans? And the answer is often yes. Yes, it does. The author Dorothy Allison once said something that perfectly defined what art does. She said it destroyed her. She yelled it in that thick Southern accent that tends to get thicker when she's stressing a point. She was telling me about a short story for an anthology she was editing. When she got to a particular part in the story, a character, one she hadn't liked much, said something that gave her a sharp realization about herself. Seeing this truth was so startling and painful that she literally threw the book across the room. That's why I write, to be part of something, even in a small way, that can get people to throw the book, or hug it, or laugh with it, but most importantly, so I can remember to throw the book myself.